Hallo MadLammer.de User, wir haben The Devil's Blood hier und zwar steht neben mir
SL from The Devil's Blood.
What's your opinion about Satanism in rock in general?
You know, there's a lot of bands out there who basically just see it as a way to sell more albums or something to shock their parents or whatever. And you know, it's like, it's fine, you just let them, you know, and in the end time there will be made no distinction between them and all the other pigs. And there will be no quarter for any of them in the long run. So if you are really going to spend a large part of your life and your energy into something that you don't actually believe in yourself, that is probably the best way to destroy yourself utterly. It will never give you any strength. It might give you some money or some quick fame or some a good blowjob in the backstage from a slut or whatever, but it will never bring you anywhere. And I think for me the part which is most interesting is that part, you know, the way that I try to translate my spirituality and my Satanism into the lyrics and the music. This is really the only part of it that really counts.
Would it have been a possibility for you to have the band with different kind of lyrics?
And I think everyone who buys a record thinking that they are only buying good music, which of course it is, I think they are selling themselves a little bit short. Because if they would delve a little bit deeper into themselves and into what is being offered, then they might find something else. Something a lot darker and a lot more dangerous, but also a lot more rewarding. If someone would want to start a band singing about cars and girls and sex, you know, that's fine, you know. Go ahead, be my guest, but you know, don't expect my respect in return.
So does it bother you that people do approach your band like, oh yeah, it's this image thing, that they do have blood and they do have Satan, blah blah?
No, it doesn't bother me, because I never thought that anyone would understand it anyway. So if out of 10,000 people, 2 understood it, then that is even more than I would have ever expected.
Was it that you wanted to, not only to form this kind of art, but to get your message to the people, just to give them something or to show them something?
Well, I would never want to call myself a preacher or an evangelist in any way. But I do think there is something to be found, and if people find it, that's great. But for me, this is a totally personal thing. Everything we do, I do especially for myself. It is my journey, it is my quest, and we're doing really good at it. And I think the truth behind it is actually one of the key motivators of our success. The fact that we are what we say we are, and not just a picture in a magazine.
When did it start that you realized you are on that journey, that you have not only an interest in the topic, but that you have more, that you can offer the people if they want to listen?
I think the moment I really realized the fact that it was affecting people was, I don't know, it's hard to say exactly when it was, but I think it was somewhere in our first couple of rituals, probably the one in Germany where we did the release show of the Come Reap EP in Aachen. And the energy there was so incredibly strong, and the people there were so incredibly hungry for what we had to offer. And I had a lot of good discussions with a lot of people over there who were very appreciative of what we were doing, and for the right reasons. I think that was one of the first moments that I actually thought that I could make a dent, a very small dent into the world's stupidity.
Do you think you can make a bigger dent into what you say the world's stupidity, that you just can better something?
I think the world is beyond saving, and I don't think that saving the world is a good goal to begin with, because everything should burn and everyone should die. But it's good to see more and more people agreeing with me.
During the history of rock and metal, there were every now and then, again and again, bands that were accused of being responsible for murders, for beatings, for riots, for stuff that happened. So don't you think it might be dangerous?
That's the point.
So
that's the point. If with my music and with my words I can inspire extremism in anyone else, that's probably the biggest compliment that I could get. So let it burn, let the world burn.
So you wouldn't care too much if at one point the law would knock on your door and say, well, we now have to get you because you brought people to do that.
I think if that would happen, it would only show how stupid people are, and I would gladly take the challenge up. You know? Even if someone tells you to do something, you are still the person doing it.
But still, there are people that like to have told what to do. But if they start to follow, then you at one point get some responsibility.
I don't think I completely agree with that statement, but even if it were so, I would not shy away from it.